I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal.
That's a damn church right there. That's time for the church, son. We about to have an eyes wide shut church party in the basement. That's what they call an after party. Y'all ever heard of the after party? You know what I'm saying?
I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal.
I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. Sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It's a freaking weekend, baby. We about to have some church.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal.
That's a damn church right there.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal.
I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. Sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It's a freaking weekend, baby. We about to have some church.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family, Pentecostal.
That's a damn church right there.
I was born in
that time. Another live stream. Welcome, everybody. Let's get right into it. We've already got a caller who's eager to speak. Actual non-denominational. Just straight to the point. I'm you, dog.
I had two questions.
Okay.
What's the skin tone requirement for Wixantium? And then I have a less serious question after that.
Basically anything as dark as me or lighter.
Damn, I'm out. Okay. I'm still rooting for you guys. My next question is this about Eastern Orthodoxy. I've been going to church. I want to become a catechumen, but they're not taking them. I had a question. I grew up Pentecostal, and we used to teach that you could lose your salvation. But now that same church doesn't and has adopted perseverance of the saints. I want to know in Orthodoxy if there's ever going to be any type of new dogma, or is it just the 8-9 councils that they have now and it's like kind of done?
I mean, there could conceivably be some kind of pan-Orthodox synod that gets received by the whole world or by the rest of the church, but no, I don't think that in the sense of a new dogma, like, you know, a new creed or something like that. There might be some controversy. I don't know, maybe a controversy arises over the proper relationship between church and state, and eventually some synod resolves the issue with something that's eventually accepted by the rest of the church. So that's definitely possible. But I wanted to talk today, and it's pretty much open forum about whatever you want to talk about. We can do tag, we can do theology, we can do whatever is on your mind. The things that are on my mind is first of all, this the collapse of the cathedral narrative. Normie narratives, whether it's in politics, American politics, or religion in the West, the cathedral, as it's often been called, by a host of writers. Writers like Royce back in the day, writers in the Dark Enlightenment sphere. I actually like that terminology because it's a great picture for a big cult that's erected a worldview on a lot of lies. Lies like classical liberalism, Americanism, lies like unfeigning support for Zionism, Christian dispensationalism, feminism, egalitarianism, equalitarianism, on and on and on. The cathedral is losing its hold, its narrative. That includes even the World War II consensus and all of that. Now, this is kind of a good thing for sure. This is great. However, the danger is that people step in. Yeah, I'm not supporting the Dark Enlightenment. I'm just saying that the idea of a cathedral is a funny and appropriate image for the modern, postmodern, liberal, post-liberal cult that everybody is subjected to, that we live under. Now, pretty much all the things that the cathedral is built on are false. But it takes a while for people to see that. A lot of people in the alternative media, people like myself, and not just me, obviously plenty others, we talked about stuff 10, 15, even 20 years ago. And now you're seeing very mainstream, very popular figures, even bigger than Alex and others, begin to discuss on a large scale these topics. Tucker just has on a guy talking about geoengineering. Now, I wrote about geoengineering in my second book. The articles were written 10 years ago, but it made it into the publication in 2018. So almost 7-8 years in print in Esoteric Hollywood too. And I first learned about whatever is going on through geoengineering in 2007. And I got a lot of people making fun of me, saying very mean, hurtful things. And did I give up? Did I quit? Was I butthurt? No. I continued on trucking, got my chips cashed in, keep trucking. like the boomer man. I don't even know how that stupid ass song goes. That's the only part I know of it. I'm sure there's more to it, but
And it's interesting because
this does not mean that all of the voices out there are going to be saying everything right, or they're going to be getting everything 100%. 100%, to quote Sam Tripoli. They're going to be getting things wrong. They're going to be, you know, people are going to go through the phase of the alien nonsense. They're going to go through the phase of the, oh, let's rebuild Atlantis and we're going to discover the ancient hidden cities of Atlantis and all this kind of stuff. Jamie's in here laughing. Thank you.
Talk about Francis Bacon.
Francis cooking bacon in there. Francis bringing home the bacon with the new Atlantis. Atlantis is Atlanta. Y'all ain't heard that? Anyway, so the cathedral's narratives are collapsing. And that includes everything from Cold War, because we just saw everybody in a ruckus and an uproar over Trump bringing this former Al-Qaeda al-Nusra Jilani to the White House. This is a repeat of the Mujahideen in the 80s. Trump is very much a Reagan type of figure, and that includes all the bad parts of Reagan as well. So we'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about Jeff Stein McCaffrey a little bit too. But first, let's play this clip of Tucker unloading on
Ben Shapiro, the facts and logic, Babylonian Talmud.
It's fine. But Ben Shapiro spent, I don't know, a decade posing as someone who actually cared about your concerns as an American. He did it imperfectly. There were flashes that he didn't really care.
Now, remember, he was at all costs never Trumper. Not that I even care about that per se, but it shows a flip-flop, right? Even if you don't like Trump, well, Ben Shapiro goes from never Trumper to supposedly
MAGA. Donald Trump is not MAGA. Alex Jones is not MAGA.
And then they cajole and co-op Jordan Peterson onto their plantation. This idea that I don't talk about this stuff, that I'm a coward or whatever, it's just not even based in reality. Remember WorldNet Daily? Like, imagine not reading the room and wanting to sign on with something like that, right? That's basically where we see Matt Fradd and people like that.
I really care about this country, and I'm against the trans movement or whatever. But increasingly, as everyone's gotten more hysterical and prone to sort of blurting out the truth, that veil has dropped, and you can see what Ben Shapiro really, really cares about. So this is a very revealing exchange that took place 6 days ago, last Thursday, on stage with Megyn Kelly. Ben Shapiro was just sitting there being interviewed by Megyn Kelly, and said something. He said something like, well, Tucker Carlson's, for Maduro, the communist leader of Venezuela, who I guess were on the way to killing or something, forcing out, regime changing him. And he defended Maduro. Didn't, actually. And Megyn Kelly says, well, Tucker said in his show that Maduro, most people didn't know this, whatever his many faults, I wouldn't hire him as an economist, okay? But whatever his many faults, has the most socially conservative country probably in the hemisphere. So Venezuela is just a fact. I mean, I didn't make this up. I'm not in charge of Venezuela. Just notice
wouldn't El Salvador
that Venezuela has banned pornography, banned abortion, banned gay marriage, banned sex changes, and banned usury. You don't have credit cards with 40% interest in Venezuela. Okay. Ben Shapiro responded this way.
Tucker's made the point, I'm not going to here to be Tucker's defender, but he's made the point that Maduro is culturally conservative.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone in his country is eating dog. He's shipping fentanyl to the United States to kill Americans. Why do I give a shit whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights?
Who gives a shit? I do. I'm not moving to Venezuela. I'm not pro-Maduro.
Now, this is very relevant because this goes back to the bullcrap of the Cold War era narratives, right? And the propaganda that we always incessantly hear about Yuri Bezmenov and how Yuri Bezmenov was the hero because he explained how the KGB subverted America, blah, 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 blah. The problem is that if you go and read what else he believed in, you wouldn't have all the Skittles stuff in the Eastern Bloc countries if it was not for all the stuff that Yuri Bezmenov was pushing. And that was the CIA line at the time. All the Skittles, the poor Skittles are being persecuted in these Eastern Bloc countries. And that's why forever and ever and ever we've called this out. And Mark Hackard wrote this great essay back, 5 years ago. Who was Yuri Bezmenov? Well, when he defected, he immediately did these interviews back in the 1980s with G. Edward Griffin. And I'm not dissing G. Edward Griffin. I'm sure that he was a nice man. I don't know if he just recently passed away, if he's still alive, but I think he's getting pretty elderly. And I think G. Edward Griffin sincerely was opposed to communism and all that. But he immediately sort of platforms and just puts out the propaganda that Yuri Bezmenov's new masters want out, which is the CIA propaganda towards the close of the Cold War. And if you watch the full lectures, and I don't think most people do, most people have just seen the clip of Yuri Bezmenov talking about how KGB operatives subvert the government, right? But if you actually go read and watch the full interview and the full multi-hour talks and interviews with Yuri Bezmenov, he later on gets into how we've got to save the poor Skittles people in Eastern Bloc countries because they're being persecuted. And they need gay rights. They need gay marriage. That was the line of the CIA in the Cold War. We're going to fight the Soviets, not with conservatism, not with right-wing principles. This is the biggest mistake and flaw and failure that so many boomers and evangelitard right-wingers fell into, was thinking, oh yeah, we'll beat the Soviets with liberalism because liberalism is actually conservatism. Well, I'm an evangelical. We're going to bring down that wall. And we're going to have butt sex and church at the same time out there in the Eastern Bloc countries because the CIA is good right-wing people. This is so stupid. So when something like Maduro comes up, everybody's immediately being pushed back into the classic boomer era Cold War bullshit of, well, he's a socialist, so he ain't good for the GDP. And, oh, well, there's flotillas and there's drug boats. Okay, but the things that Ben Shapiro says he doesn't care about are the very things that ultimately bring down civilizations. You can't build a civilization on what GDP. This is the classical liberal narrative. That's why they always want to corral, just like they want black people on the Democratic Party plantation. They want to corral white conservatives, Bible Belt goobers back into the classical liberal versus communist socialist dialectic. And how long have we been sitting here saying this is a failed, retarded venture? It's dumb. There's no future for the country if everybody is, classically liberal. It's a dead end. And that narrative, post-Cold War CIA narrative, is collapsing. So what's being replaced? What's next? Well, that is the current fight in the system today. So we have the evangelical dispensational Zio goobers that are all going absolutely insane ape shit on Twitter. I mean, it's just like if you go to your For You, if you're at all critical of this stuff, all it is now even Mike Winger, like goofball, just absolute goober evangelicals who, by the way, will not debate. I've asked him multiple times to set up formal debate. No way. Absolutely not. Even he's out here sounding off with the rest of the evangelical. These people are just such morons, man. They're so stupid. There's nobody dumber than an evangelical, especially an evangelical boomer, man. And they are the ones propping up these infinitards that just never stop. They never go away. However, their megachurch cathedral foundations are cracking and crumbling. We are now finally beginning to see some crumbling of this just absolute nonsense. Total nonsense. Mike Winger says, Tucker and Candace are heading for a cliff. No, that's old. Oh, they're so bad. But these people, Matt Fradd, they can't read the room. It's your narrative that's collapsing, you goofus. And nobody is going to keep... You understand there's no more actual Protestant apologists left. Who's the standout Protestant apologist that's actually out there getting converts and winning people and doing debates? There aren't any. Who? Well, maybe Mike Winger could have stepped up. Nope, he won't debate. Wes Huff, he won't debate anybody. Now Ruslan wants to step into that. Well, guess what? Ruslan's a nice guy, but he sucks at debate. And if he tries to debate Candace or Nick or any of these people, he's going to get demolished. I mean, you saw our informal debate over something that he just threw a curveball at me out of nowhere, and it was terrible. Ruslan doesn't even know the basic fallacies. He's not going to handle any competent debater on a real big stage. So the whole evangelical Zio base is a bunch of just absolutely stupid people who will fall for anything. These are the grandmas that give money to the TBN preachers, right? Like, who would actually give money to these people? Well, that's the base. That's who we're talking about here. So there's a fight between them. There's a fight between the emerging dissident right that is now having public voices, that's driving all of the Mark Levin's and Ben Shapiro's insane. And so there's a massive schism coming.
I would personally become poorer to end abortion, voluntarily become poorer to end abortion in the United States. That's not a choice. Don't want to become poor, but I would because I care about it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're offended that I do, but I care about it. Lots of people care about it. I don't think pornography is good. That really hurts people. You know, I don't think pretending that the sexes are the same is good. And you claimed that you didn't think it was good, but it turns out, quote, I don't give a shit. Maduro's against Israel. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only issue that matters to these people, right? Obviously, dual citizen operatives are not going to be America first. Duh. Like, who's just now figuring this out? And isn't it interesting that we know there is a paid marketing scheme And we know these people are retweeting all this gibberish like literally 24/7. I mean, James Lindsay's feed is nothing but this stuff 24/7. So I don't know what happened. Like, he must be racking it up or something. Allegedly.
Give a shit. Well, you spent like a decade pretending you did give a shit, that you were on the side of like normal Americans who have a mix of concerns. They definitely care about economics and they care about social issues too because they have children and they see where this is going. It's not good. That your economic condition is not the only measure of health. Your spiritual condition matters too. It's just a fact. It does. If you're totally degraded, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting the whole world and losing your soul. Sorry. And most people feel that way, but not Ben Shapiro. He doesn't give a shit. So why the hostility? Well, maybe because if you keep talking about the so-called social issues, which are not limited to abortion and pornography and gay marriage, the trans issue, they get pretty quickly to economics, to usury, to lending money and interest.
Yes. In other words, everything that I've been arguing for the last 10, 15 years about the collapse of classical liberalism and the classical liberal cathedral, its foundations are now shaking. Samson is pushing the pillars apart.
And most people, including me, are not against lending money and interest, conceptually. But it depends on what interest rate it's being loaned at. So there are payday loans in this country that are 600% annually.
Now, remember, in the history of Christendom, for the first 1,000 years of Christianity, it was seen as immoral and forbidden for Christians to practice usury. And it is none other than the papacy that changed this position for the West and began to allow it. And if you doubt me on that, your own Catholic writer, Michael Hoffman, wrote an entire book on it. Usury, the sin that was and now is not. So your own Catholics have noted this. In fact, that's one of the interviews that Michael Lofton himself took down. And we're going to play that glorious Michael Lofton clip again, because this arrogant D-bag who has spent so many years doing nothing but trying to get Orthodox deacons who are solid defrocked, trying to lie about me, everybody, the whole Jay is mean nonsense actually comes from Michael Lofton. With all of his underhanded nonsense, which ironically all the other trads and Roman Catholics found out that that's how just absolutely nasty and disgusting Michael Lofton really is. Now they all agree with me. Well, at the time, I was the bad guy. I was the one that he and Ibarra tried to get deplatformed from interviews. Yes, absolutely. Tried to get me deplatformed from Gospel Simplicity interview. Tried to tell him not to do it. Tried to warn him, all this kind of stuff. So that's what they actually do. They can't actually handle any real debate or discourse. And wait till you see what Eric Ibarra said. Kind of wild what he actually meant. I couldn't believe what Ibarra says. Now, people are saying, oh, Ibarra is going to be Orthodox. Ibarra's been saying this kind of stuff for years. He's been admitting all kinds of things. And then by next week, it'll be like he never said it. That's always been Ibarra's MO.
600% interest annually? And who's taking payday loans in this? Well, poor people are. And they're never getting out of it. They're car loans. They're credit card loans. There's private credit. We used to call it loan sharking. At exorbitant rates so high that people will never get out from under them. They're enslaved by it. It's called debt slavery. It's 100% real. That's not an ideological point. It's just an obvious observation. And it was one of the observations that Charlie Kirk was making on a daily basis before he was assassinated, which is interesting. And it's that kids are buying food on credit. Buy now, pay later. That's credit. You're paying interest on that, whether they call it that or not. Late fees. People are loaning you money at a much higher interest rate than, say, rich people are borrowing money. And that's bad because it's really hard to get out of it. And if you're wondering why the average...
Right, so let's be clear here. Sincere Hypocrite says, what is the Orthodox position on usury? It's impossible not to have debt in our debt-based economy. It's impossible not to engage with. No, the point is not that you're liable for something that you can't help. Everybody who engages in the fiat system is in some way attached, adjacent to usury. I'm aware of that. The whole system is based on that. That's the whole Federal Reserve system. So if the usury ideology collapses, that means the entire Federal Reserve, IRS system collapses. The point is that you, as an Orthodox Christian, don't engage in that because it's not fair to people. It creates the scenarios of slavery that he's talking about. I have an Alp in my mouth. That's why I'm spitting. I can't swallow all the nicotine without throwing up.
American homebuyer, American-born homebuyer, is almost 40 years old. When the year I graduated from college, it was 28. How did that happen? People are in too much debt. This is probably, if it had isolated in a world with a lot of issues, a lot of pressing issues, debt for young people is probably the number one issue, which is to say it's the number one thing that is destroying them and making it impossible for them to get married and have children, which Ben.
And that is a big issue, but it's also, again, the entire Federal Reserve fiat scam system is a problem. And that's why inflation never gets better. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump or somebody else is in there, because there will never be a solution to inflation without fixing the actual monetary system. Even Ron Paul recognized that. Even Barry Goldwater recognized that decades ago. And have you ever noticed that issue gets brought up every few decades and then it disappears and things just march on? But guess what? It can't march on for forever because all fiat currencies collapse. And I want to mention briefly that smart money doesn't wait until Bitcoin is going to the moon. Smart money puts its
One thing
value in when it's a dip. So this happens every time when Bitcoin dips. People say, "Oh, it's over, it's dead." No, now is the time, you dummies. This is when you buy. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a registered financial advisor, but I believe that this is the perfect time. Okay, because I start talking about Bitcoin when it goes to a new all-time high, and then people are like, "Oh, it's too high. Oh, it's too high." Okay, well, now it's not too high because it's down from 125 to 94. So if you want to use my promo code right there to get started with Swan Bitcoin, Swan isn't a Bitcoin only company, and you can get started right there with Swan Bitcoin. JR, what's on your mind? Unmute, dog.
How do I get the Bitcoins into the ATM? That's all I want to know.
Well, we got to audit the Federal Reserve first, and then we got to send a few emails to the Ben Bernanke and the supply side guys, and then I don't know.
That's what I wanted to know is how to get the Bitcoins into the ATM. I don't understand. I rubbed the Game Boy on the ATM. It didn't work. Anyways.
Do your Ron Paul. You have a great Ron Paul.
Well, Jay, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to audit the Fed, but we've got to set up a program to be able to do that. And
now, Ron, are you a supply side guy or not?
I am not a supply side guy. That's some people mix me up with Paul Craig Roberts. I am Ron Paul. Now you do a good Paul Craig Roberts. You do way better than me.
This is old school Alex stuff. Like half the audience won't remember this. Well, John, the thing about Bitcoin is no different than an email. When I send an email to Ron Paul or Alex, I don't get any money from it. How do you put money value on an email? It's worth nothing. So I'd rather just stick to gold or whatever's going to back the dollar.
We could go on for hours like this and everybody will leave. No, what I was going to say earlier is a lot of the, someone like Candace Owens starting to realize stuff that obviously we talked about years ago. And interestingly enough, on some of her recent episodes, the people that she's pointing out as being particularly sus, allegedly, are Calvary Chapel ministers. Did you hear that?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I think, I touched on some of that. Some of the new Apostolic Reformation people I didn't know about, but who are the Calvary Chapel people you're referring to?
Whatever the guy's name is, something McCoy. and she's. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember all the names. I only listened to it once, and so I.
But you're saying that some of them are Calvary Chapel people.
Yeah, she says there's multiple Calvary Chapel people. Some other guy named Butch something. He's like some Calvary Chapel minister named Butch, and then something McCoy, Mike McCoy maybe. And what's interesting about that is she even. I mean, I don't know if she's listened to old episodes of back when we used to talk, but she's going back into the days of that Thousand Oaks shooting, being connected to the Las Vegas stuff. We talked about that years ago on old stuff, but yeah, that's what's always funny. I'm not saying I am saying that we were ahead of the curve in that regard, but I'm glad people are catching up. That the evangelical world is intertwined with the military-industrial complex.
Absolutely, dude. Yes, exactly. And this goes back to the Cold War and exactly what we were talking about, not just with the dispensationalist stuff, with Gog and Magog, Hal Lindsey, John Hagee, all that stuff going back to the late Great Pelleter at the Cold War era. Evangelicals basically putting out whatever disinformation is necessary to support the nation state of Israel and Christian Zionism, but also Yuri Bezmenov's narratives fit very well with that evangelical soft power approach.
Yeah, another thing that we talked about many years ago about like when we saw that video of him many years ago, and it was laughable because it's like, is liberalism in the U.S. like the 60s boomer liberalism, the hippie culture, the counterculture that came out of Moscow? Really?
Yeah,
really?
Exactly.
Hey, let me plug a book here real quick for everybody. Actually,
by the way, you're right. It's Rob McCoy, somebody in the chat, and I just found this guy here. So he's one of the Founders Ministries. Rob McCoy.
Yeah, she's particularly picking on that dude.
Okay.
But this book, I actually used this book way back in the day when we did our live stream way back in the day. It's called From Bible Belt to Sun Belt by Professor Darren Doichuk, and the subtitle is Plain Folk Religion, Grassroots Politics, and the Rise of Evangelical Conservatism. So I definitely recommend people get that book.
Does that touch on some of the Pentagon military industrial complex associations?
It lightly brushes around it, but there's another interesting story there as to how evangelical conservatism kind of permeates through the prosperity gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what it was is you had a rising, we had an artificial economy after World War II that was primarily war-based. And it created this idea that we were more prosperous than we were. And the prosperity gospel went along with that because it floated the idea to everybody that, hey, the reason everything is so prosperous is because God wants you to be prosperous, and God wants you to have, and also God wants me, the minister, to have a $5,000 pinky ring and a Learjet. And so it's an interesting story how that whole gospel develops in that regard.
Yeah, and that ties it to the positive thinking movement, Norman Vincent Peale, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Definitely, because one of the prime movers of that was Robert Schuller, and he was a disciple of Norman Vincent Peale particularly. And really the idea of a lot of the mega church stuff that we see today, whether it's Calvary Chapel or something, but it actually is an earlier incarnation in Robert Schuller, because Robert Schuller in the 50s took an old movie theater and turned it into a church where you could have a drive-through church.
Become a possibility thinker. So he just renamed it. Instead of the Beatitudes, Robert Schuller came up with the Be Happy Attitudes. So obvious, like total con man, just 100%. This is why he used to be featured on TBN, which was, a massive source for pushing a lot of this, evangelical prosperity gospel nonsense. You remember him being on TBN, right?
Yeah, he also had his own show called The Hour of Power.
The Hour of Power, yeah.
Yeah, and he would get up there in his like quasi. It was like a mix between like an Anglican priest and a Mason.
Yeah.
His
Now,
garb.
yeah, his that's a classical. That's actually how the Presbyterians. That's their version of robes. But now his son Bobby Schuller apparently runs that whole thing, and by the way, is still featured at TBN. Which, if I recall, somebody said TBN was bought by Hillsong. So Justin Bieber's and Chris Pratt's church, Hillsong, I think they bought TBN. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they own everything. They're basically the BlackRock of evangelical churches now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like if you drive around various areas of the country, you will see Hillsong churches all over the place, and some churches that even have like an old, another name. It'll say like the name of the church, but then underneath it'll say a Hillsong church. So it's like it's like
corporate branding where you have a franchise,
exactly.
like a Subway franchise, yeah.
Yeah, and then it'll even be like something else where a mergers and acquisition firm buys out your local deli, and then they take it worldwide, and then it'll say in the small letters, it'll say a Hillsong church.
Appreciate that, John. Sebastian, what's on your mind? What's up, everybody? Welcome. We got almost as many as Dr. Disrespect on our live stream, so at least we can compete with gamers. What's up, man? Unmute.
Hey, Jay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I just want to say thanks to your debates and a lot. Me and my fiance, we just got received in the Orthodox Church this last weekend. I don't come from like a religious background, but it's funny because she comes from a Oneness Pentecostals, and ever since we made this journey, she just, oh, you're worshiping the devil, this and that. But I just wanted to share that and tell you that she, after she came out of the Oneness Pentecostals, I asked her just straight up, like, because her whole family believes in the speaking in tongues and all that, and if you don't do that, you're not saved. And I asked her, I was like, now that you're out of it and, your family's not pressuring you, did you fake all that? And she was like, yeah, a lot of it was just pressure. And I was like, that's kind of what I figured. But I just want to say thank you for your debates and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I'm glad that she was honest about that. That's pretty exciting.
She said it was embarrassing to have to go through it and have to realize all the shame, but she was like, she feels better coming out of it now. Like she's not bogged down by it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate that, Sebastian. Glad to hear that you guys are moving in the right direction. Jet, what's up, man? Many years, bro. Jet, what's up, dude?
Hey, Jay, how you doing, sir?
Great. What's on your mind?
So, something I've been struggling to understand, and I've kind of just been getting into theology, but I was wondering what the Orthodox interpretation
You're cutting out.
is of Exodus. Upper question when. Sorry, can you hear me now?
No. Go ahead. Try again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was wondering what the Orthodox interpretation is of Exodus 33 when Moses is asking God to your appearance, and God says, "No man shall see my face and live."
Yeah. And yet Moses saw the face of God and lived. So that's the point, is that there's an aspect to God which is unknown, which is the essence of God. And then there's a revelation of God, which is personal in the Son, which is an energetic personal revelation. So that's the essence-inner distinction.
All right, yeah, thank you much. Yeah, appreciate it.
You too.
Leonard, what's up, man? Leonard Nimoy, what's on your mind? Leonard, unmute.
Yo,
Uh-huh.
hello?
Hey.
Jay, I was wondering what the Orthodox view of aesthetics was. Like, does beauty have an ontology?
Yeah, it's God himself is ultimately the beautiful one. So
Yeah, but I'm saying like aesthetic criteria. Like, could a painting from a 2-year-old of Christ, for example, have the same beauty as a Renaissance painting? You know what I mean?
no, there's objective notions of beauty, harmony, symmetry, form, order. All of those are part of beauty. That's why not all music is music. There's a difference between noise and music. If there wasn't, if there weren't objective standards of beauty, there would be no difference between noise and music. But music is math and time, and if you mess up the math, it won't be harmonious. It won't have a melody. Likewise, if you construct art while messing up the geometric patterns and structures and form, you just have ugliness. And that's exactly why the CIA weaponized abstract art, was because it had that deracinating and brutalizing effect.
Yeah, I understand. I just couldn't reconcile this as like if you follow the logic, like you ought to look at the beautiful, correct? And then opposite with the ugly. So I was wondering if it's the case that is, the case.
I don't understand what's.
No. I'm wondering like, you look at like beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? Like, at faces. Like, and turn away from the ugly people. You know what I mean?
I mean,
No, I know it's a weird question, but like,
well, I don't think there's a moral duty to look away from ugly people, but there is a reason why we kind of intuitively, innately turn away. But no, you can gaze upon myself as a beautiful e-diva. So, one of the prettiest black men on the internet, you are allowed to gaze upon me. So the answer is yes. Martin, what's up? Martin. Martin, unmute, man. Martin, unmute. Thomas, what's up? Look at the beautiful abstract art. Oh, wow. It's so beautiful. Wow. Amazing. So freeing, so revolutionary. I mean, it literally looks like either a schizo or a 5-year-old. Dr. John, what's up? Dr. John. Leon Redbone and Dr. John. Streaks on the China. Never mattered before. Who cares?
can you hear me?
When you drop kick your jacket on your way out the door, no one's there. Nobody knows who Dr. John and Leon Redbone are.
How you doing, Jay? Can you hear me? I do.
I know John knows. Yes, go. What's up, man?
Oh, yeah. Hey, okay. So I had a quick question for you. I was having a conversation with this. He said he was like an Armenian / non-denominational. And we got to talking about the Eucharist. And he wanted to know my position on the Eucharist, or our position on the Eucharist. And after I gave it to him, he told me that from his position and from whatever he believes, they hold that Christ is, when you partake in it, it can't be the real presence because they don't re-crucify Christ. I did a bunch of cross-referencing and reading on this. There's not even like heretical, quote-unquote, church fathers that talk on this. Is there a place that this like belief comes from? It seems Gnostic, or like I don't know where the heck
it's just a class.
From.
It's just a traditional Reformation criticism that Luther and Calvin would level. Sometimes Calvinists and Puritans say that if the Eucharist is a offering, then it's re-sacrificing Christ, and it denies the finished work of Christ. So from our perspective, and presumably from the Roman Catholic perspective as well. I'm not Roman Catholic, obviously, but I think what the reformers get wrong in this criticism is that while it is true that Christ finished the work on the cross, the application of that work in time and space has not yet fully occurred. So it's true, yes, it's finished, but it's also not even technically finished because Christ hasn't even resurrected yet. So what was finished was the death. That part's finished, right? The descent into Hades, preaching the gospel to the dead, the harrowing of Hades, the resurrection and the ascension and the session in heaven, those have all not happened yet. So within time, all of the elect have not been applied the graces yet. So that's why Paul says he's filling up the measure of what is lacking in the sufferings of Christ. Paul doesn't mean that Christ didn't save us, that it was not good enough. He means that what Christ experienced, the mystical body of Christ in the rest of future history will also experience the sufferings of Christ. And the grace and application of that Eucharistic offering has also to be filled up until the end, when the last of the righteous come into the church. Sons of Jared, what's up? I mean, that's why the Orthodox liturgy calls it the bloodless noetic sacrifice. The liturgy itself says it's a bloodless noetic sacrifice. So we're not re-sacrificing Christ. It's just really stupid. But I mean, it's like Need God keeps DMing me and he's like, we need to debate. The debate is faith or works. And I'm like, I want you to commit to a Reformation doctrine. And he won't do it. He's like, no, it's just faith or works. And I'm like, the reason I keep not agreeing to debate with you is because you claim to be some kind of Reformation Christian. You won't commit to the actual Reformation doctrine of justification by faith alone. And he won't. He says, no, I'm not going to commit to that. Even though he knows that he claims to be some kind of quasi-Reformation believing Christian. Because he wants the debate to be cast as just faith or works. And I'm like, it's a stupid, faulty premise for a debate. And he's like, Jay won't debate. He's running. No, you won't admit, honestly, that you want to defend the Reformation doctrine. Because we know that's what you believe. But he will not commit to that in the debate. He will only say the debate has to be faith or works, which I believe allows him the equivocation and word concept fallacies to wiggle around in a debate. So he can dupe his super low tier, low IQ audience into thinking that, well, he comes believing in works. This guy believes in faith. That's what Paul says. I believe what he says. That's literally like, he's the worst of the evangelical apologists. Oh, then why don't you debate him? Because I'm not going to agree to a debate where the terms of the debate, the statement, aren't actually what the person believes. So he needs to commit to the Reformation doctrines that he supposedly believes. You don't get to frame the debate. I mean, let's say I was going to debate a Roman Catholic and I framed the debate like, or a Roman Catholic frames the debate like, you either believe in the papacy or anarchy. Well, I believe in anarchy since I'm not a papist. So you see how the Roman Catholic is weighting the debate from the outset by trying to say, well, you're either a papist or an anarchist. Jay, you're not a papist, therefore you're an anarchist. It's so stupid, right? It's like a super low tier, like, it's like a childish level of like just games. Dude, just defend your Reformation doctrine if that's what you believe. Why you got to play a bunch of word games? And you can't just say, I believe in the Reformation doctrine of justification by faith alone, penal substitutionary atonement, etc. I mean, imagine if I tried to frame a debate with a Protestant and I said, you either believe in the correct doctrines or in heresy. Orthodoxy is the correct doctrine, so the Protestant's here to defend heresy. I mean, I think that's true, but nobody's gonna agree to that debate. It's just dumb. So, but I mean, what do you expect from this guy? This guy has no idea what he's talking about. And also, he's very slimy in the debates and in the way he edits and clips the clips. And also, I have standards too. As I told you guys many years ago, I might even just enact the physiognomy standards. And if I enact the physiognomy standards, then that cancels out need God. Odiak, here is a link. A link for what? Thank you for the $10, but I don't know what that link is for, because I don't see your other super chat. Elvis Pugleaf, $10. Speaking of the normie narratives, David Wood admitted that he previously committed crimes. I'm aware. I don't like Muslim Skeptic, but Muslim Skeptic posted the 3-minute video of David Wood's words. Either David Wood is lying to deflect, or he should be in jail. I don't know about the law where he's at, or the statute of limitations and all that stuff. But I mean, he's just going to say, well, that was in my previous life before repentance. And while it's true that a person can repent and be forgiven, obviously, of any sin or crime, that doesn't mean that you necessarily should be a public teacher or theologian or minister. That's a big difference there. So Storm the Cat, $10. The woman who wants to replace Maduro is a Freemason. How do you know the woman is a Freemason? I mean, there's not a whole lot of women Freemason lodges. There's Eastern Star and that kind of stuff. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying that'd be if that's the case, that'd be a great example of a false dialectic. Do you want the socialist, or do you want the Mason? And by the way, a lot of Masons have been socialists. Freemasons have been pioneers of socialist revolution. So that would be a great false dialectic. Censor hypocrite. No, we did that. A Panini. With debt, I buy you, and I buy your future. I own you. Speaking of Bitcoin, are we dipping below 90, or will we rebound to 120? I don't know. I have no idea. And the reason I think we don't know is that, a lot of it depends upon all these stupid macro, Fed statements and Trump's tariffs, and will the Supreme Court rule against the tariffs? And I mean, I don't know. So since it all depends on that, unfortunately, right? I mean, we're not anywhere near Bitcoin decoupling from the macro environment. That's years and years and years away. I mean, Bitcoin is still not even anywhere near the size of gold, right? Gold is what, 10x Bitcoin? Bitcoin is 2 trillion. Gold is 10, 15, 20, whatever gold is. I don't know. But I mean, we got a long way to go before Bitcoin is its own entity. I think we will still get there. But as to what's going to happen in the short term, is the bull market over? Are we in a bear trend now? Actually, I hope so. I actually hope so, because I actually want to stack more under 100 before we are at 150, 200, because it's going to be even more. I mean, as time goes by, it's just going to be more and more difficult to stack Bitcoin, because the dollar will be worth less and less, and I can assure you of that. But as to where we're going, I don't know. I mean, I think Ivan was saying, 95 is a resistance level. If it falls below that, then I don't know what the next level is, probably in the 80s, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to see like 60, 50 again. Yeah, exactly. If they do send a $2,000 Trump stimmy, you better believe that's going to go to Bitcoin. Of course, I won't get it, because if you basically have to be like under 100K to get that Trump check or whatever. Fresh Pelmeni, $8. It's something like that. I forget what they count as, like, under the, I think it's under 6 figures or something before you get that. Kick the Boomer, says Fresh Pelmeni. He means kick, not in physically. It's not a call to violence, you dummies. That's kick from the space. That was a long time ago, though. I don't think he was calling John a boomer. He was talking about the first guy. A Panini, you have to allow mic access when you join the space and hit unmute. Are you talking about the people who call in? I don't know what you mean. Juice Box, what's up?
Hello.
Yep.
Hey, I had two questions about like the Western right. I'm a little new to Orthodoxy. I was wondering because I heard some things you said about it, or some other people. I was wondering, is it okay to join that as like a first church, the Western right, and like what's the line, or to go to an Eastern church, and then what's the line between like Western traditions and Eastern traditions that you would say?
I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the liturgy itself, but a lot of times they push ecumenist stuff. So ROCOR Western Rite's better than the Antiochians. The line is devotions and things that are post-schism that promote Roman Catholic heresies like Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart denies the teachings of Ephesus that Christ is worshipped with one act of worship. Sons of Jerry, what's up?
Hey, Jay. First, a question, and then I want to ask your opinion on something.
By the way, it turns out, John, that just right now, Candace is premiering an episode, or she's live, talking about pastors being intelligence handlers. So that's very odd, fortuitous timing here that the very thing we were talking about, she's actually live right now discussing Calvary Chapel pastors and intelligence handlers.
I'm gonna say she's not. I don't know. Maybe she'll mention Paul Cain. Paul Cain was pretty much something that nobody else kind of talked about before we did.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, I think when it comes to like the lore of the Calvary Chapel, I don't know anybody who was ahead of you, kind of laying all that out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to, be the
dude. You're the dude.
But yeah, it was just like people didn't even think about that being
right.
Something like that. And really, one of the things that only tipped me off to it, essentially, was, I think I've told you this before, but there was like a big meeting that was happening at the time where I saw it like advertised somewhere where like all these pastors were going to go meet with like all these senators and Pentagon people.
Right.
So,
well, you also get this like leftist socialist Democrat narrative, which does at times hint at this. And some of these people will call in and they always come after me because they'll say that I work for, what was the Phyllis Schlafly version of the CFR?
Council for National Policy.
CNP, yeah. So if the only people who even hinted at this were the people who were leftists talking about the CNP, and they act like we're going into that Trump will bring a theocracy where we're going to go into Handmaid's Tale, right? Which is just completely retarded.
Yeah, and I mean the CMP is kind of sus, definitely.
Oh yeah, it's definitely sus. It's definitely sus.
Then there's a lot of people who go into it where it's like, oh, the CMP runs everything, and like that's not even true.
Yeah, and it was actually Canadian operatives that tried to get into my Discord, believe it or not, and they were really pushing this line. They would call in, and their whole story was, oh, you work for Dugan. And you're a secret operative for the CNP, just all this complete nonsense.
What people don't actually know is it's not the Jews you have to worry about, it's the Canadians.
Exactly.
That's a joke.
Now, look, I was looking for the first place, other than like, our conversations when we did those podcasts 10 years ago. Here it is. The first place I saw this kind of a discussion was F. William Engdahl's book, Lost Hegemon, and he talked about, let's see if I can read this part here. He says, soldiers of Christ and killing Islamic infidels. Driving fanaticism, the fanaticism of the U.S. military in its wars against Islamic terror was the U.S. the military was saturated with Christian evangelical fundamentalists and fanatics. One of the most influential was the well-financed organization called Military Ministry, which is an affiliate of Campus Crusade. The Military Ministry had an annual budget of $500 million. They have branch offices in all of the main U.S. Army bases, as well as overseas Bible study programs. This is a mirror of Fethullah Gulen's Quran study groups. The military ministry in its groups maintain statements that their goal is to win, build, and send in the power of the Holy Spirit to establish movements of spiritual multiplication throughout the worldwide military community. In 2005, at the peak of the Iraq insurgency operations of Petraeus and Steele, Military Ministry's executive director was a retired Army Major General Bob Dees. He said that the group must pursue our means for transforming the nation through the military. The military may become the most influential way to affect the spiritual superstructure. Indeed, they had a deeper agenda. This is not very long. You'll see the point of this here in a moment. Military ministry inside the U.S. Spread a crusader fanaticism, especially after the 9/11 events, as you could imagine. They cited the Bible to sanction killing by combat, and that God's servant is an angel of wrath to punish those who do evil. Now, let's be clear here. This is what gets everybody confused. If I say that there is the possibility of an Orthodox Christian state, and that it's not wrong to defend yourself, and that it's not wrong to have saint kings, that's not the same thing as an evangelical crusade that's lying and psyoping people to go fight wars for Israel. It's totally different. Okay, so don't get your mind muddled up by the fact that, well, Dyer contradicts because he thinks you can be a Christian soldier, but he's here attacking our good American fighters and defenders of freedom. These wars are for greater Israel and for resource control. They have nothing to do with self-defense, which is the purpose of traditional classical warfare operations in terms of Christianity. It's not typically offensive warfare that's ever sanctioned, although I'm sure that did happen at times. Military ministry leaders would frequently refer publicly to U.S. soldiers as government-paid missionaries. This is Campus Crusades affiliate doing this propaganda, okay? The government-paid missionaries, in one incident, it was revealed that a private contractor was supplying the rifle scopes to the Defense Department, and they were imprinted with references to Christian Bible verses. So they were putting like John 3:16 on the sniper rifles. I mean, I don't know if it's John 3:16, but that's a funny image in my head, is like evangelical dupes fighting their wars for Israel, and the Bible verses, it's like John 3:16 on the sniper rifle. This cocktail of hate and death was well mixed in Iraq by this select network out of Washington. They use a fanatical brew of fundamentalism and Christianity to go after equally fanatical Salafist jihads, which the U.S. military-industrial complex was actually fostering in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was the trial application of secret Pentagon plans to take military control of oil-rich regions strategically vital to the Middle East in this ensuing war on terror. That then would be spread across the entire Muslim world, from Afghanistan to Pakistan to China to Uzbekistan to Chechnya to Dagestan to Russia to Syria to Egypt, Iran, and now to North Africa, because this book was written around 2014, somewhere in there. 2016, excuse me. The secret Pentagon plan of the Christian right and using Islamic fundamentalist jihad. This goes back to the Pentagon war plans developed by Rumsfeld, Bush, and Cheney. In October 2007, General Wesley Clark, former military head of NATO, gave a talk at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco. In this talk, it was said some 4 years earlier, it was some 4 years after W and the cabal of neoconservatives earlier, including Paul Wolfowitz, had made the decision to invade Iraq. And in this talk, of course, he gives the 7 Nations Plan. But the 7 Nations Plan is actually the neoconservative preemptive warfare attack for neoliberal causes to, quote, spread freedom. Spreading of freedom is just the spreading of American corporate interests, Zionist interests, etc. So that's the first time that I heard a specific reference to, wait a minute. So even, I mean, I kind of knew that evangelical stuff had Pentagon CIA connections, but like, lo and behold, oh man, were we muted the whole time? I wonder if I'm getting muted. Like, is something happening that's like making, because that's a little weird. I don't remember muting. Maybe I just didn't unmute. How long was it muted?
Like literally all of them that we've done on this show, and I'm freaking out. I would have never thought in a million years that there would be something which connected the Chaos book, which I got obsessed with and was like, it's required reading for this podcast, connected to the Brigitte Macron case. I'm going to tell you about that. Connected to Ye.
Okay, good. So we were only muted for a couple seconds. Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Me telling you all about what happened behind the scenes when he was effectively kicked out of Hollywood, and these themes that we have been exploring. So where did we leave off yesterday? Well, we spoke about the Cavalry Chapel. We spoke about Rob McCoy being the lead pastor in Thousand Oaks, one of their many churches across the United States. And my sense, which every Christian Zionist influencer under the sun is trying to ward me off of. Oh, how dare she? I can't even believe it. Bibi can blow up thousands and tens of thousands of kids, but Candace investigating the Charlie Kirk assassination is crazy. It's unbiblical. It only furthered my sense that faith had somehow been infiltrated. Faith had become a military operation, or perhaps from the 60s onward, that's what it's always been, right?
Guys, this is what we've been saying. You got face lords out here. You got sweet candy out here telling you what we've been telling you for so long. Jared, what's up, man? You there?
Yeah. So I have a question regarding restoration and reformation theology. Isn't it, at the essence of it, a vicious circularity?
I'm sorry, what?
Can they escape the vicious circularity, restoration or reformation?
When you say restoration, you're talking about Mormons, Campbellites. What do you mean?
So, Mormons, Islam, when they claim that they have a revelation and they appoint whatever they like, you can see it in the...
The Mormon dilemma is the Islamic dilemma. No, they can't get out of that.
And what about the reformists like Sola Scriptura?
Well, they won't believe that the church died or that it's being restored. They just think they're reforming the visible Catholic Church that fell into error, heresy, idolatry, etc. So,
but how do they decide which script? Okay, I see.
Luther and Calvin will say that the Roman Catholic Church continued to have true believers amongst it, but it fell into, institutional subversion, chaos, corruption, and idolatry, and that they were there to reform the existing Catholic Church back to what they believed was the, pre-corruption apostolic church. And that had to do partly not just with the notion of correct theology, but what's called humanism. And this is not secular humanism, but right before Calvin and Luther, right around the time of Luther, there was a movement, an intellectual movement called humanism, Renaissance humanism. And the idea there, and it's not all bad, was it's time to return to early texts. It's time to return to the actual languages. So let's go back and learn Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic. Let's study the actual New Testament texts. And some of this is good because this is where we get people like Lorenzo Valla, producing things like demonstrating the donation of Constantine and other things are forgeries. So forgery exposing, which a lot of which was true and good and accurate, especially when it comes to Roman Catholic forgeries. that comes out of some of these Renaissance humanist figures. But you could also see how the Reformation could also say, well, yeah, let's, and Calvin was one of these humanists where he said, well, let's go back to studying the actual Hebrew and the Greek, and that will give us a much better picture versus these, Latin and papal patristic interpolations. So you could see how it could be good, but it could also be abused. Much like textual studies could be good, but it could also conceivably be abused, as textual studies were by Luther's progeny out of Tübingen and the German universities that produced higher criticism. Taco, what's up? Taco. Jay, I'd like to have a taco. What's up?
What's up, Holmes? Hey, I had a question. Have you read the book of The Jewish State by Theodore Herzl?
No, I've only read Moses Hess, but that would be a good idea to get Herzl's book too.
It was pretty interesting in that book. It says something about Argentina, and I think it was Uganda.
Oh, you mean the places where they were? Yeah, they were suggesting Austria, Australia, New Zealand, all kinds of places to set up the Jewish state.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And now that you got Milei over here, the president of Argentina, it's like he's butt buddies with Trump and Netanyahu. So it kind of seems like they're going with the Zionist plan of Herzl.
You mean in Argentina?
Yeah, like there's this little it's like a little place called Patagonia, Argentina. And in Theodore Herzl's book, he says that piece of land is fertile. And that's what I'm thinking. There's the Israelis, like this government of Israel, wanting to get that land of Argentina there.
Yeah, wasn't Milei also involved in a giant crypto scam recently too? Manichean, what's up, dude? I mean, dude has like an obvious weirdo, man. Like he's got Wolverine 1800 sideburns. He's a psycho-libertarian crypto scammer. Like, just shit is so weird, dude. Like, I think you almost got to be some kind of weird, crazy person to be politically successful. Like, nobody sane, competent, wholesome. You got to be some kind of like gay freak to go anywhere in politics. What's up, man? Manichean. All right, he dropped off. Brevin, what's up? Yes, I know that Milei claims he's not ethnically Jewish, but he's a convert or something, right?
Too many instances, as I showed you yesterday, of trafficking and sexual abuse. You have to begin asking the question whether or not this is systemic and it's on purpose and who these pastors are working for. But I got an email yesterday.
Also a good point. A lot of these evangelical pastors, megachurch pastors, are also probably sexually compromised goobers. And that's a key point that we often overlook. But again, we've talked about that too. What does she title her show? Pastors or handlers, something like that. What's up, Brevin?
I want to say thank you for all you do. I love your stuff. Keep it up.
Thank you.
You're a godsend.
Thank you.
I'm curious if you've ever heard of the idea of the Well of Souls.
Yeah, everybody's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I guess it's like.
Are you there? I can't hear you, man. You're cutting out. Hello, Indy? Are you there? Indy? All right. I thought we were going to have a ripe situation for Raiders of the Lost Ark jokes and, quoting Indy, but I don't know. What's up, man? Nikon, unmute.
I hope you're ready to handle a black queen.
Shit. You ain't nothing but a damn servant to this queen. You talking to the empress right here.
Hey, so I want to help you develop this Cholo character. Okay, so
you're all about this Cholo, man. Every time you call in, you're about what's up with what's this obsession with my Cholo voice, man?
Because you're too good at it, man. We got to make this happen. So you also inspired me a little bit further where you said you're actually going to be a real cholo on stage, okay? So that made me think you got to go bald. You got to do bald cap.
Okay.
You got to go hand face.
Okay.
You got to do a hand. We're going cholo gangster, okay? So like,
Yeah, I got it
lighter.
pulled up. I got it pulled up right here.
Yeah, exactly. Bald. This is the archetypal cholo, right?
Okay, well, I ain't shaving my head, so we're not going that far.
No. You're doing the bald cap. You're gonna keep the hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Bald cap, tan,
Okay.
makeup. You're doing the handlebar black mustache.
Okay.
And then you got to do the full button-up shirt, collared shirt, right? Baggy pants.
Yeah,
And I
homie.
think for the jokes, you could kill two birds with one stone, right? So you got a lot of Mexicans who are Catholic, a lot of Mexicans who are Protestant. So all the stuff, all the digs, all the owns that you've been exposing with the Catholic Church and with the Protestants, somehow you could work that into your comedic routine. I don't know how. You got to work on that yourself. I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Hey, listen, man. Hey, dude. Around here, bro, like this homie, he listens to advice, dude. Bro, as long as it's constructive criticism or whatever, like, I'm totally there, dude. Like, it ain't even a thing, bro. Like, it's totally cool, bro. You could say whatever the you want, bro. Like, I don't even care, man. As long as it's constructive, dude, shit, we on it, bro. Undead, what's up? We just don't put up with no negativity, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, constructive criticism, I'm all on it, man. But, like, none of this fucking negativity, bro. I'm out. Undead, what's up, dude?
Hey, EJ, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to, first time hopping on one of the live streams. I just recently left the Mormon church, got my name off the record.
Awesome.
I got the letter. I've been in Orthodox Catechism for a couple months.
I'm proud of you, dog. I'm proud of you, man.
Stuff on the monarchical.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been rough. It's been a
Understand.
rough couple of years,
I
but it's all
understand.
good. The wife supports me, so that's all that matters. Anyway, just wanted to say your stuff on the monarchical Trinitarianism has been a great resource coming out of the LDS three distinct person Godhead view. It has been very interesting because I never heard about that.
Good.
In Mormonism, it was always the Trinity was always like they're three in one, but they didn't ever really go into it because it was
Right.
like, it was kind of default. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense, and who does Jesus pray to, and all this, and the typical Trinitarian argument.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to hop on and say thank you for that. It's been great having all your stuff on YouTube. So I just wanted to say thank you and hope I can hop on more lives. So I
Yeah,
appreciate all
anytime.
this.
Yeah, thank you, man. Many years to you. Glad to hear that people are moving out of these crazy cults. Lexione, what's up, dog? I'm a Pentagon pastor. Dude, Randy Balls would be all about being a Pentagon pastor, dude. He'd be all up in that. What's up, man? I'm a Pentagon pastor. Zenio, $3. At the root, it seems like feminism is when people assert that women deserve or entitled to things. Why is this wrong? Women should not be treated poorly, but, well, it's a couple things. I mean, in one sense, women are wanting to be supposedly equal to men, and they want fair, equal treatment. But then at the same time, they want all the benefits that would accrue to them in a more traditional setting where they're not treated as equals in some egalitarian sense. So, I mean, there should be fairness and equality before the law, but the idea that that equates to metaphysical, biological, equal treatment is absurd. It doesn't make any sense. We're not equal. We're very different. And so this idea of not recognizing differences is at the root of the weaponization of identity. So everybody should be happy with the identity that God gave them and created for them. At the root of a lot of this is envy, is hatred, and that has to be gotten rid of. But no, women are different. And so they are not equal in every sense to man. Just like there's a hierarchy of subordination that the scriptures are very clear about. Just like I can't go to my priest and like, hey, dude,
hey, homie, you're like equal to me or whatever, so I can like tell you off to your face, bro.
Like, that would not be proper because the priest is an authority over me. It doesn't mean that he can abuse that authority and do whatever he wants. No, he has limitations, and there've always been limitations on authority. But that doesn't mean that. So again, everything is either ors, and nothing is ever like harmonious. And that's by design. Godfather, $10. Eric Ibarra lied to my face on camera like I didn't know. I clipped it, and I just want to make it clear as possible that he's an open liar. You know, I have thought so as well, but people put on a face and a front of acting nice, and then everybody thinks, he wouldn't lie, he's so nice, he's a nice person. Well, let's see what Eric Ibarra admits when it comes to the cathedral collapse that is Normidom. And Normidom includes not just the political Christian Zionist Normidom, it's also the Roman Catholic Papal Normidom and its collapse. Now look at what I actually couldn't believe Ibarra went this far in what he said. This is kind of wild. So let me pull up the full statement here. This is in response to some insane Catholic cope defenses for the rabid Skittles activist James Martin. Odiak, I read your super chat. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I always read the super chats, but I read the super chats at my pace. You don't tell me when to read the super chats. I read them when I want to. Imagine being in a church whose canon law is so technical that a gay peddling homosexualist, that's odd terminology from Eric, who overthrows the entire faith by his technical orthodoxy can be said to escape the need for excommunication. When has Rome ever excommunicated anybody except a couple absolute loons? This is laughable to begin with. Frankly, one doesn't even need to hear the defense of the statement. Whatever defenses there are, it is still a major shame and a disappointment. Yeah, Eric, this is exactly what we've been saying for a long time. So thank you for this amazing admission that your church furthers, allows, and promotes Skittles everywhere. It's exactly what we said. And not only that, it's a tool for the destruction of our country.
Bound to our people by ties of communion and compassion in our Lord Jesus Christ. And we are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety around questions of profiling and immigration enforcement.
We are saddened by the state of contemporary debate and the vilification of immigrants.
Dude, all these Roman Catholic goblins are gay. Give me a break.
Meant that some immigrants in the United States have arbitrarily lost their legal status. We are troubled by threats against the sanctity of houses of worship and the special nature of hospitals and schools.
We are grieved when we meet parents who fear being detained when taking their children to school, or when we try to console family members.
So, again, the Roman Catholic Church is a tool of third world mass immigration. They attack the president, who himself has all kinds of problems, even when he tries to do the very correct thing, the legal thing, to enforce the existing laws. And these subversive demons come in and try to guilt everybody with the face of Christ and Christianity that you can't have your nation state and there are no illegals. When I guarantee you the Vatican and its goblins are never going to get rid of that wall. They're never going to house all of these third world migrants, all these crazy, insane people invading Italy itself. They're not going to be given hospice, and they're not going to have tents set up in Rome, in the Vatican. These people are just absolute demons, man. They're the worst. And you're surprised that these people trafficked and shuttled the pedo priests around. Are you kidding? They're the ones that are supporting and aiding and pushing, because they're paid to do so, the invasion.
Who have already been separated from their loved ones.
Despite obstacles and prejudices, generations of immigrants have made enormous contributions to the well-being of our nation. We as Catholics...
Notice how they don't even try to cloak it as legal versus illegal immigration. It's all just migrants and immigrants. and just absolutely no conception of the enforcement of the actual laws of the country. And this is just insane to me. And the Roman Catholic goblins that defend this stuff, and these lying pieces of trash on Twitter, whether it's Eric Ibarra or whether it's Pope Respecter or whether it's Michael Lofton, they all sit around defending this gigantic criminal organization of the Roman Catholic Church, and they go after anybody else who criticizes it. When these are the leaders, this is the real Roman Catholic Church. It's not Christian Wagner's online Dungeons and Dragons Thomas LARP. It's these people. This is the real actual Roman Catholic Church facilitating the collapse of the West and this country. And all of these people who support it are part and parcel to supporting this criminal organization. That's why I can't stand these people so much. That's why I'm so on these people. And Nick Fuentes says, all he does is to attack Roman Catholics. Well, wait a minute, Nick. You went after fake conservatives. And what I'm doing is no different. Fake Christians. Giant criminal organizations facilitating the collapse of the West. And me calling that out and going after it does not make me a bad person. It makes me consistent and doing the very thing that you do. Jungle, what's up? Jungle, what's up?
Oh, let's go.
Hey, Jay. Thanks for having me on. I have a question first, as you're talking about Catholicism.
Are you there?
Defending nationalism from Scripture, or at least the idea that, like, we
You cut out. So what's your question?
shouldn't let Christians from other countries seek refuge. How do you defend nationalism from Scripture, or like the idea that people
Are you
can't migrate to your
serious?
country, especially Christians from third
I mean, are you serious?
world? I know
Why are you laughing?
I
What's funny about it?
I'm curious how you defend it biblically.
Yeah, but why are you laughing about it?
I read Camp of the Saints. It's a book. I'm nervous. It's my first time on. I've been listening to you for a while, so
Sure.
I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm just.
Well, then why are
curious
you
how
giggling?
I'm just excited. I'm a fan, man.
So your wife is telling you what to say, and you're giggling. You can't speak as a man. You got to listen to your wife tell you what to say.
We're both a fan. We're both a fan.
Yeah, but I get all kinds of people calling in claiming that, and they're full of it. So how am I supposed to know that you're a fan when you're a random ass profile with nothing on it?
Oh, we really like you, seriously. I'm so excited that you're talking. This is sick.
Yeah, we're both extended Roman Catholic.
You're what?
Oh my gosh, Russian Orthodox Church for the first time last month. We've gone twice, and it's really thanks to you. You've kind of changed our perspective a lot on Protestantism and opened our eyes. So, not trolling, but
okay. Yeah, let's have this.
Also, if you'd rather, I have a question about your stance on.
Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, let's have this conversation. So what do you want to talk about?
Yes.
Why do we have borders? I mean, have you read the Old Testament? Did Israel have borders? Did Israel have laws about the foreigner in the land?
Well, there's a scripture in the Old Testament that says, "Let the foreigner reside among you," because you were once a foreigner as well. And then I think
that doesn't mean illegally. That doesn't mean that you that everybody can come into Israel without any qualifications or clarifications. So every Christian country in the history of the world, in the history of the West, has had limitations on how many and what people can come in. For example, you don't bring in a giant. Can you mute when you're not talking, dog?
Yeah.
You don't bring in a giant Muslim horde because, oh, well, we're an open borders country and God says to have open borders and this kind of stuff. There's a difference. There's a reason why every country has had some kind of sensible border policy. And even if they're so-called Christians, you don't import a whole bunch of people who have a completely different culture or a completely different ethnicity into your culture. That's not the same thing as accepting refugees or migrants in some situations. So there is no one-size-fits-all answer to how nation states engage in international relations and how they have, borders or not. There is no situation where there's open borders in any country ever. It's never existed. So that has nothing to do with Christianity. The Old Testament, because it allows for foreigners to come in, there's also many strictures put on those foreigners in the Old Testament in Mosaic law. And no, it is not anybody coming in at any time.
All right, thank you. I mean, that clears it up. I think, yeah, cultures have a right to exist. That's fair. If you don't mind, it's a little off topic, but I also have a question on your critique of PSA, saying that it's a form of historianism.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So my brother, who I argue with a lot, is a Calvinist. And I brought that up to him. I said, you can't have Christ damned on the cross because that splits the Trinity. Christ he can't be cast away from the Father if he is God.
Mm-hmm.
And his objection was that God is present in Sheol. If I go to Sheol, you are there. His objection was that he doesn't necessarily have to be separated from God to take on the wrath we deserve. But
well,
God
if one person is turning his wrath against another person, then he's separated and cut off. I mean, they even say this when they quote the psalm, "Why have you forsaken me?" Did the Father forsake him? It's not a question of did God's omnipresence cease to be. It's not a question of omnipresence. It's a question of indwelling of the persons, right? So, for example, the Father indwells the Son indwells the Spirit. Well, if the Father damns the Son, do they still indwell one another? It's just, it's absurd. It's insane. It's anti-Trinitarian.
Well, I guess, why can't he be subjected to the damnation that we're doing? Why does that necessarily split him? Can't he?
Okay, does the Father indwell the Son?
Yes.
Okay, so when the Son is damned, is the Father also damned?
I guess in this, would it be wrong to say that the Father also took that on like that?
So the Father is damning himself in the Son. It's just
God
retarded.
suffered.
The Father is in the Son. If the Father's damning the Son, then the Father is also damned by the Father. It's just retarded.
Yeah, but okay. So in the Fifth Council, Constantinople, the Theopaschite formula. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
The idea that God suffered, wouldn't that criticism of it's retarded that God?
No, but it's explained if you understand that theology that the sense in which the suffering happens has nothing to do with the divinity. Divinity is impassible. That council teaches that the divine nature and divinity is impassible. What the suffering is there is the Son experiencing the severing of his human soul from his human body. So the only suffering that occurs is the Son in his human nature experiencing the loss of that union of body and soul. It's not the divine nature that suffers. How can divinity suffer? It's impassible. All right, I guess his connection is gone or something, but we can't hear him. Diveroni, what's up? I mean, basic Christological teaching. Go read John Damascus on the Orthodox faith, and it will solve all these. It'll make all this make sense. What's up, man?
Who?
Yeah.
So I had this thought as a dispensational, harpazo believing evangelical type Protestant about why the Catholics and more like the U.S. government hasn't done anything about all this Epstein trash. So
what does that have to do with dispensationalism?
So, and then it has Star Wars in there too. So I see it. That's the way they're going to roll out Antichrist. So they're going to say, hey, look, we got to get rid of the government because they're all a bunch of pedophiles. So now we need this dude to run everything because everybody has been co-opted by whatever you want to say it.
All right.
So I see.
Okay. Sure. Let's see. Jack, what's up? Unmute. Jack, are you there? It's a wild night tonight. Unmute, dude. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello. Okay, sorry. Who's on? Sorry, I got added as speaker.
One
I
at a
didn't know
time.
if I was-
Go ahead.
Who's going?
What's with
I
the
guess
giggling?
I'll
Like
go
everybody comes on just giggles. Like I don't get it. What's going
No,
on?
well, there's two people on.
I know. So just wait to let the other dude talk, and then you can go.
Okay, my bad.
It's all right. What's up, man?
Okay, so I had a question about cat.
Okay.
So I was talking to my friend, and I guess I kind of technically won because
Okay. What's the question? Spit it out.
nihilist. Yeah. Okay. I guess if atheists cannot presuppose like logic and morality and like truth claims because
Well, they can do it, but they can't justify it. So it's not a question of can they do it. It's can they justify it.
Yeah. Well, if they can't justify it, I guess like why can deists presuppose that their senses are like accurate?
Why can theists propose their senses are accurate? I don't understand.
Like I guess like how does the deist like know that his senses are true when he's making his truth claims about like religion?
Yeah, well, we believe in all kinds of presuppositions and assumptions, right? But if God exists, then that's a world where it makes sense why we can trust our senses. So the point is that the point is not that we don't make presuppositions or have presuppositional assumptions or whatever. The point is that our worldview gives an account for them. The atheist has all the same assumptions and presuppositions, like that the external world is rational, coherent, understandable, but he can't justify those presuppositions. That's the difference.
Okay, that was it. That was just my question.
No, it's good. It was a good question. I appreciate that. We get a lot of weirdos tonight, and so I always get tripped out, and I'm like, dude, what's up, man? Unmute, what's up?
Yo, Jay, what's up? Just wanted to say thanks for all your years on the 4th hour of Lord Voldemort's show.
Thank you.
Have you heard about, there's a book and a documentary called Hidden Hand by Francis Saunders. It's about CIA and OSS doing abstract expressionism. You were talking about it earlier. So
I mean, I have her book, and I've listened to her lectures, and I've cited her book in my books for 10 years. But I've not seen the documentary, but I'm familiar with it.
It's on YouTube. It's for free. It's like a 4-part series. It's pretty dry, but it's like in-person interviews with Tom Braden and some Georgetown set people and like.
Oh, cool. And what's the name of it?
It's called Hidden Hands. It's called Hidden Hand, and then I can pull it up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't even know this existed. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's from like 1999 or something from the BBC, but it's
Apparently, I've thumbsed it up. I just forgot.
Yeah.
So at some point, I thumbs up this, but yeah.
It kind of blew my mind, and it's like interviewing these CIA directors,
Uh-huh.
and they're just talking about how like proud they were that they were subverting culture by, creating these fake.
Yeah, but if you talk about it, you're a retarded conspiracy theorist with a tinfoil hat.
I mean, I went to art school or like art university, and I would bring it up, and like people thought I was batshit crazy. It was kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, well, welcome to my world, dog. Manichean wants to try again. What's up? Beautiful Tristana is here. He's never he's retired from the internet. I wish he would come back. Everybody's too cool for the internet now. They won't come back. Their queen. I mean, I'm up here slaying dragons as a damn slay queen, and they've all deserted me. All of my backup singers, my dancers. I mean, it's basically, imagine Beyonce with no backup dancers. That's essentially what it's like being abandoned by, Tristan and people like that who, were basically at my right hand as I was doing the moves, right? My fellow slay queens, and they basically just retired left me out here to fight the battles alone. I mean, I guess that's just how it is now. What's up, Manichean?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, this is all my personal opinion. I despise the political left. I think they're deranged and totalitarian.
I agree with that.
I look at I look at C-19, the border, the obsession they have with this LGBTQFU agenda. The left allows riots. I want détente with Russia. I support Israel. I think what's happened is postmodernism in the Frankfurt School and Hollywood and MTV has made the left crazy. And I know it's ironic I support Israel. But I guess I just want to ask, how should we respond to them? I debate them all the time on TikTok. I can't get through to them. They're insane.
Yeah, I don't think it's an intellectual issue. That's the thing. I think eventually we get to the sort of the root of the problem, which is spiritual blindness and evil. I think it's beyond intellectual differences and distinctions. We're at the point of like good and evil, and the left has absolutely 100% just flung themselves into total evil. Now, the fake right, they're not a whole lot better, but they're not absolutely demonically possessed. But that's my take on it. Damien, what's up? But I mean, yeah, you can't reason with most of these people. I think we saw, like around 2016 when the left started hitting people with bike locks. It's like, okay, they're not rational anymore, and they've just gone crazier and crazier ever since. What's up, man? Damien?
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hey, I tried to call in like last week sometime, but my mic was freaking out.
Okay.
And then I guess I got booted. But I've been watching you and Jim Bob and Andrew Wilson here and there. And me and my brother both decided we'd go to an Orthodox church.
Okay.
And it's the only one in all of southern Utah.
Oh,
thus
nice.
far. But it's a little mission church, and I just wondered if you had a second to talk about the rapid growth we're seeing there, because it's really promising.
Sure, yeah, let us know. In fact, we love to hear this. It's very encouraging, and we're hearing basically that Orthodox churches are tripling everywhere.
Yeah, since I came, we've seen probably about a doubling, and that's in 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Of people coming consistently.
Okay.
And in December, me and my brother and my wife are supposed to be sworn in as catechumens. We were talking to our priest about it just yesterday.
Okay.
But basically, there's been so much promise in this little mission church that they're already building a temple here right in the middle of Mormonville, and it's really cool to see the change happening. And we're supposed to have our first liturgy there in July, I think.
Awesome, man. That's really good news. That is encouraging. Thank you so much, Damien. I'm glad to hear that. Many years to you guys in Utah. Utah is definitely going to be a ripe place for conversions, especially with all this craziness of the Mormons just kind of going wild, hog wild, pushing Mormonism everywhere, all over the internet. It's almost like I'm seeing more Mormon stuff pushed in the last 6 months than Muslim stuff. The Muslims basically got all quiet and shut up, and they won't debate anymore. And it's basically just Mormons going Mormon crazy out here. Counterdox, Orthodox Christian converting to Mormonism. Oh my gosh, you can't be serious. This has got to be a joke profile. Please tell me you're trolling, dude.
No, dude. How's it going, Jay?
You're joking, right? You're not really converting to Mormonism.
Oh yeah. I'm one of the biggest trolls against Mormonism.
Okay, now I'm confused. Are you actually going to Mormonism, or are you converting to Orthodoxy, or what? I don't understand.
No, I'm Eastern Orthodox. I'm Father Deacon's god brother. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm chill. Hey, so just want to run this by you. Would you rather have the United States be 80% European Muslim or 80% Mexican Orthodox?
If I had to choose between those two?
Yeah.
Well, obviously Orthodox over Muslim.
All right. Yeah, I was just trying to debate some ethnic nationalism, and they were like, no, we'll take the Muslim. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Well, if you were an ethnic nationalist, neither of those would be good, right? They would both be problematic.
Yeah, but my point using that argument is just to show them they actually have no principle.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Evaristo, what's up? That guy was tripping me out. I couldn't tell if he was, I thought he was like for real. Like, are you seriously, you're going to leave Orthodoxy for Mormonism? That's insane, dude. I've never even heard of something so crazy. What's up, dog?
What's up, man? I hope your health's doing good. I have two quick questions for you. Are all forms of sound martyrdom equal? That like excluding crazy people who pick up arms in the name of God, or are Sikh forms of martyrdom frowned upon?
Or what forms of martyrdom?
Sikh, like, so if there's an active war zone that Christians are
Sikh, like S-I-K-H, Sikh religion?
no, like looking for martyrdom. Like, are they frowned upon, or are those martyrdoms also?
Yeah, I don't think I mean, this was something that Donatists did. Like, they tried to martyr themselves, which is kind of crazy. And I think, for Orthodox Christians, we would say, martyrdom is something that comes about providentially. It's not something that you try to seek out. So, and it's not typically something in warfare. So I'm confused as to what are you talking about with warfare?
I guess it's more like a life question.
Okay.
I want to enter the political space and a place where there's a lot of corruption. But if I go at it from a Christian point of view,
right,
I'm kind of skeptical of playing the game and, colliding with foes that oppose the law just to get into the political space.
Mm-hmm.
But I would assume that's not the right way.
I mean, I would say, if you want to be in the political space, focus locally, because, national politics pretty much just requires people that are sexually compromised or $100 billion people. Like, that's the only way you're going to be really involved in national politics, is if you're a billionaire, or you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, or you're some kind of psycho sex freak. So, but if you have those things, if you're a billionaire psycho sex freak, you will be welcomed into politics. You'll be like the most successful of I mean, that's just kind of seems to be the norm for politics. So I would say, if you want to be effective, focus on doing stuff at the local level. You know what I mean? Run for city council, run for mayor, that kind of stuff. Like, in my hometown, there was a big ruckus over some big corporation buying out the hospital. And one of my good friends from my hometown, he got really involved in that and was really active. And because he couldn't get enough people interested in local politics, I don't think he was successful in stopping this corporate conglomerate from taking over, local healthcare, which is probably going to make it worse. But why? Well, because nobody thinks about politics as actual local stuff. Everybody, I'm not saying you're doing this, Evaristo. I'm just talking about in general. People think, oh, politics is, Donald Trump and the Dems. And it's like everybody just obsesses over the goblins in Washington. And it's like, yeah, but you've got goblins taking over locally. Why don't you think about that instead of, people obsessing over. Because, I mean, even to be a senator, right? Like, you could probably do all right maybe as a congressperson, but, like, even to be a senator, 95% of the time, like, you got to be some kind of weird gay sellout person to even get the money to even have the support. So, I don't know. I don't know enough about party politics, because it's all fake and gay anyway. And you can't really get anywhere without a party, which is already the control system. So it seems to me like, I don't know how anything ever changes or we get out. I'm not an accelerationist. I'm not advocating all that crazy stuff. Like, I don't think we should actively work to do evil, subversive things. But at the same time, I don't really know how you unlock the oligarchical lockdown that they have on the way this system in this country works, outside of it collapsing. I mean, maybe there is a way to take it back. Maybe enough people in 10 years can wake up. But I mean, that's why they're rushing to just absolutely have no borders and completely destroy the country, destroy the dollar, they're rushing to collapse it before there could be any kind of actual. I mean, the stuff that people are waking up to now needs to be. People needed to wake up to this 20, 30 years ago. Okay, that's when the real awakening needed to happen. So I don't know. Is it too late? I don't know, man. Ace Brazzy, what's up, dog?
Hey, Jay, you know how you got that guy just like 2 calls ago to ask you about the picking between the ethnicity thing. I got another one for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you get like full blood, 100% ethnic Russian Orthodox Christians or Indians. Which one?
I'm sorry. Repeat that question. What's the options?
So 100% full, like their entire ancestral line are Russians and they're Orthodox Christians or Indians. Which one?
Orthodox, obviously.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to give you a layup to shit on Indian.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a no-brainer there. Slow boy whiteboard. All Roman Catholic priests have sus physiognomy. Wonder why. Count Trad Chad, $10. I've been listening to your content for a ton of your content. Here's $10. Thank you for your service. Well, thank you, Count Trad Chad. Odiac, $5. When I said read the super chats, you ended up being muted. Okay, my apologies. I didn't realize I was muted. I was asking you a question. Also, sometimes Streamlabs don't show up. They usually do. They just don't show up for very long. So let me go back here and let's read Odiac. Zodiac or Odiac?
Hey, after you read it, I have one more thing, Jay.
Okay. Let me find that super chat. So here, let's see. I'll show you. I can make it pop up. Watch. Oh, it's because I'm not on the right screen for it to pop up. That's what it is. It'll pop up here, I think. Yeah, there it is. AC, $10. Oh, yeah, we're tearing down the Normie Cathedral. The cream rises to the top. That's my philosophy. Odiac says for $10, here is a link. Okay, so I see your super chat, Odiac, for a link, and I don't see any other super chats. So I'm scrolling down all the way to yesterday. Walter, no, we did that. James, no, we did that. Groove Monster, $10. Have you read a book that just came out from Rutledge called Geoengineering Our Climate, the Ethics, the Politics, and the Governance? I have not, but I mean, it's pretty wild that they would make an academic Rutledge text about something that doesn't exist. I mean, we all know there's no such thing as geoengineering. You only talk about that if you're an insane, crazy person. Even though Ron DeSantis passed legislation about it being forbidden in Florida, it still doesn't exist. So yes, they legislate and they pass laws for things that don't even exist. There's no such thing as that. As you can see right here, this doesn't exist. Is it not? Why is it not showing? It's not showing the right screen. There we go. See that? So here's the legislation for absolutely schizo things that don't even exist. So Ron DeSantis is out here passing laws against schizophrenic. Basically, this would be like Ron DeSantis trying to pass the gematria laws, basically, right? Doesn't exist, even though we've got Florida laws about geoengineering. Okay. And also Rutledge is putting out academic texts about geoengineering, which also doesn't exist. So why are they putting out academic texts about things that don't exist? Fresh Panini, Kick the Boomer. We read that. Dark Brain, $5. I've been watching all your Versus the Protestant streams. I have great questions. You have great questions that I'm gonna have to contend with. Thank you for the hard work. Well, thank you, Dark Brain. Appreciate that. Anonymous sends $50. Woo! And then Anonymous sends $5 and says, hey. Well, you won the super chats tonight with that $55. Hey, Queen. Hey. You send me $55 and I will do the gay voice for you. Elvis Plugley. I love your impressions. Can you say I'm Batman? I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. I can't really do a Christian Bale. And I'm assuming you mean a Christian Bale voice. I'm Batman. I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. I mean, he does that gruff, breathy type of thing. So that's the best I could do with a Christian Bale. I don't know. Storm the Cat. We did that. We did the usury one. We did the Bitcoin one. AC, $2. Thank you, AC. Appreciate that. Ibarra lied to my face. I like to see the clip. Good Godfather says for $10 that he's caught Ibarra lying. I don't doubt it. He plays a very strong front of being a nice guy. Zennial, $5, $3. Oh, that was the feminist one. We did that. Bird, $3. That Pentecostal track is objectively awesome, beautiful music. Well, thank you. Shout out to Dr. Evo, the producer, who, by the way, actually does do songs for Snoop, Ice Cube, other rappers that basically rip off my flow, like Tristan, people like that. So I'm glad that he's, come on over to our side and he's producing tracks for a real authentic rapper like myself. He's not out here with these mark ass busters. Odiac, $5. Here's one of them. Maybe this is it. Jay, there's a pastor called Pastor Stevens at Graham Emmanuel Baptist. He does his sermons against orthodoxy. Will you refute and review them? I'm a catechumen. It would be helpful. I guess I'll take a look, but guys, like every day somebody says, refute this guy, because every day there's a new Protestant making anti-Orthodox videos because so many people are leaving Protestantism for Orthodoxy. And guys, most of the time, the responses are just very low-tier stuff. And so how do I find your response, Jay? Well, guess what? There's a bunch of Clips channels now. And all the Clips channels have massive archived content on all of these subjects. So for example, if we come over here to Orb Productions, look at all these clips. If we come over here to Dyer Central, look at all these clips. Pretty much everything that you think of, we have multiple clips on. Let's say Jay Dyer and Sola Fide. Well, what do you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 clips. 11, 12. 12 clips on Sola Fide. Remember, guys, just search the archives. Everything already probably has 10 clips, especially when it's these Reformation evangelical Protestant basics. Sola Fide, Sola Scriptura, like it's been addressed out the wazoo. Rex, what's up, man? Rex, what's up?
Hey, Jay. What do you know about the Aztec king? Like the philosopher king?
The Aztec philosopher king?
Yeah, the Aztec philosopher king.
Okay. That's really funny.
No, sorry, Jay. Sorry.
So there's the retards are calling. What's up behind? Scruffles, $10. Jay, you're the GOAT. Thank you. Vegan Skills, what's up, man? Became a member. Scruffles. Also, John Gallagher, $10. Thank you so much, John. Low-end Disciple, $5. I appreciate you, Uncle. God bless you and thank you. Well, you're welcome, nephew. H. Brazzi, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I have one more question for you. So, and this kind of is what I think is going to happen in the next election cycle. So, in the they're like, all right, so JD Vance, you know, he doesn't do as well with women because they see him as chauvinistic, and this kind of ties into the whole accelerationist thing. Obviously, I'm not a proponent of that. I'm just saying, this might actually have, and I don't think the women's vote is ever going anywhere. Or at least, definitely not during our lifetimes. But I think this will start to move some other women in like somewhat in our direction, like on their position when it comes to them voting. So I don't think. First of all, I don't think he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna win. I don't personally think he's gonna win. I think whoever the Democrats put up more than likely win because women aren't going to be willing to vote for him because they see him as a chauvinist. Because he's actually more conservative than Trump is, and that was that's been a massive problem for women in all three elections. Obviously, not as much in 2020 or 2024, but definitely back in 2016. And Vance is, even though we wouldn't necessarily see him as a quote conservative, definitely not to our degree, he's significantly more so than Trump is. So yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, if that were to be the case, and you know the numbers come out that women just would not vote for him, and they start doing polls and asking conservative women, and they give that response, do you think that will have, like, what effect do you think that will have? Because obviously, I don't think their vote is actually going anywhere, so it may not make a difference whatsoever. But yeah, what do you think?
I don't know, man. It's a good question. I've been thinking about like who would even be the next so-called conservative. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know. I mean, I know the women vote is a significant portion of the vote. I don't know, man. I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer. I don't even know. I mean, voting is just, it's all fake and gay and stupid, dude. I don't even know. But H. Brozzi says in his comment, $5. Ben Shapiro calls Maduro a communist dictator, but you're Jewish, so even the communist dictator wins. That's pretty funny. Sincere hypocrite. What's the Orthodox position on usury? Oh, we did that earlier. What's up, man?
Hey, Jay. Big fan. I just wanted to. My question was.
Here's what I'm gonna say about the women vote. Hold on.
And misogynists and chauvinists and sexists 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 and misogynists and chauvinists and sexists, misogynists, chauvinists and sexists and misogynists.
I'm voting for Hillary. Basically, that's the answer. What's on your mind?
I am a convert now. I've been, or at least I've been a catechumen for about a year. But I grew up in the like Calvary Chapel. I went to Harvest, which is headed by Greg Laurie. And I was just wondering, because I seem to remember in one of your videos you mentioned that that the Calvary Chapel movement obviously stemmed from the Jesus People movement. And you mentioned like it's like has some deep state ties and like a lot of that. So I'm just wondering, like, what's your, like, do you think that the Calvary Chapel and the evangelical movement, like by proxy, was kind of started by deep state powers and forces?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. In fact, that was the first hour tonight. Okay. And guess what? Candace Owens is streaming on tonight.
Okay, yeah, exactly that.
That very thing.
Yeah. All right. And then just one of the...
Now, I just want to say, though, when it comes to Queen Bee, Slay Queens, it ain't Candace, it's me. Okay. Who was talking about this before this sweet candy queen up here? Your Slay Queen right here. This E-Diva. Okay. And who was talking about it before me? E-Diva JR in the chat. So I'm just saying there's quite a few E-Divas that have been on this tip ahead of time. But shout out to this Slay Queen for following suit. Okay.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, just scroll back to the first hour tonight, and it's all that. It's all that. Okay, it's all that. Now, by the way, I didn't know Candace was even going to be talking about. I think she changed the title, but it was something like Pastor Handlers. I like that. Brother Handler. Who's your preacher? Brother Handler. Y'all like Brother Handler? Give me an amen. Hey, man. Hey, man. Brother Handler's going to be prophesizing tonight about the nation state of Israel and the blood moons of Israel. Jesus is not the Messiah. Do I need to play this clip again? Again? Friends, my new book, In Defense of Israel. Jesus is not the Messiah.
I'm delighted to present my latest book, In Defense of Israel. This book will expose the sins of the fathers and the vicious abuse of the Jewish people. In Defense of Israel will shake Christian theology. It scripturally proves that the Jewish people as a whole did not reject Jesus as Messiah. It will also prove that Jesus did not come to earth to be the Messiah. It will prove that there was a Calvary conspiracy between Rome, the high...
I mean, can you imagine millions of evangelicals believe this? It's just kind of insane. Like, how could you be this dumb and wrong? It's just mind-boggling, really, that there's millions of people that believe this. Reagan, what's up? And I believed it too for like a year when I was 19. And then it's like, wait a minute, I've been reading the Bible for the last year, and this doesn't seem right. This seems retarded. What's up? I'm mute. Reagan.
Hey, Jay. Appreciate you taking my call. I just had a quick question about your opinion and the history of the Orthodox Church's opinion on Hebrews chapter 6, particularly verses 4 through 8.
Washed and tasted the heavenly gift and fell away. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I just wanted to know how that's married with the concept of the parable of the prodigal son. I know this Hebrews isn't even the only verse that talks about this concept of not being able to repent after you tasted the knowledge. I think in Hebrews 10 it mentions something similar, and in Peter as well. I was curious your opinion about, like, so.
Well, I don't think it's saying that you can never, even if you did commit the sin of apostasy, that you could never be saved again. I think it's saying if you go back to that and you stay in that, then you're lost. But I mean, there were plenty of people who have doubted Christianity and, you know, became some other religion, Buddhist, whatever, and then came back, right? So, excuse me. The chat is saying that Candace is cuter than me. Excuse me? Excuse me? Do you know how long I worked on my routine? And I don't think the people in my trailer, because we know before these live streams, I'm usually in my trailer, and I have my assistants are, you know, bringing me my lattes and whatnot. And to say something that just you know, insensitive to the people that do my hair, that do my nails, that, you know, get me in the position of where I'm at, and to just say offhand, oh, Candace is prettier than Jay. I mean, it's just really, I mean, I don't even know if I should address it. It's just really rude, I think, to the people who work so hard on my team, my assistants, my hair, my nails. You know, they're not going to be happy that you guys are saying this. Now, I'm not saying Candace isn't a queen. I'm not saying she's not, you know, sweet Candy B. Okay. But I mean, who's the real diva here? I want you all to think for a moment and look inside. I want you to look inside your own souls for a moment. Just close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes. Look within. And when you say the word queen, when you say the word diva, tell me honestly from your heart that it's not my face that pops up as soon as those words are in your mind. Thank you. Thank you. Behind, what's up? What's on your mind?
There we go. Hey, Jake. So I guess, well, if you're going to be a diva again, the hair has to come back.
Diva again? Excuse me? Excuse me? Again? There was never a continuity that ceased. Okay, there was never a time of again as if it ceased. Get your words right.
All right. In the terms of geopolitics, I'm having a tough time with the Venezuela thing. You know, it's like it's gone back and forth, but now we're like, you know, drone striking, and I thought we were going to go after the cartels. You know, are they like a?
Well, we need our field correspondent diva Tristana to come up here and give us a report from the field, but she won't do it. So I wish I could give you more intel and recon, but our field correspondence girls don't want to come up. Tristana, hello. This is the perfect time for you to come co-host. Banks, what's up? Azalea Banks, what's up? It's diva night tonight. We got Tyra Banks, Azalea Banks. We got Sweet Candy on here. What's up? Unmute Banks.
Hey, Mr. J. I really would like to thank you to you, Andrew Wilson, I believe, for your arguments about epistemology. But my first question is...
You talking about Epsteinomology.
My bad.
Jeffrey Epsteinomology.
First question. So with all the new information I'm getting from Orthodox Christianity, beginning with Jonathan Pageau and now on to you, with all this information about Zionism, should I, and a lot of more of your videos, sounds kind of depressing, but should I worry about this stuff really a lot since our history kind of happened with Jesus Christ? He's rose and resurrected. Or should I, constantly study this stuff?
I would just say put things into priorities. I mean, politics, geopolitics is not the number one priority, but you can study whatever you want to. God, like Father Moses says, God gave us freedom to use our creativity and our interests as we wish, just in line with what he wills for us. So we're not charismatics where we're like sitting around like, oh, I'm waiting for God to tell me which book to read. God's telling me to read the, Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock. No, it's not like that. It's like read whatever you want, but just have your priorities straight. Tristana, could you give us a field report in terms of Latin South American politics? What's up with Maduro? What's up with Venezuela? What's up with Milei? What's up with all of this neoliberal socialist? What's the lay of the land down there?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey.
I mean, that's a pretty complex.
I understand.
Thing,
I'm gonna give you a
right?
super chat money for. I'm gonna give you some money. I'm gonna give you some money.
Like,
I'm paying you.
You remember Saddam Hussein?
I do remember him.
But Maduro's like if Saddam Hussein and Pablo Escobar had a little love baby,
Woo!
and he's just sending packets of. He's sending thousands of kilos of fentanyl from Venezuela just every hour, and if we don't invade them immediately, everyone you know is going to die. Okay. That's basically what's going on.
Well, if Ben Shapiro says that, I'm immediately starting to doubt it. So,
yeah, no, I mean I don't know if you're going to see a ground invasion. My guess is that what they're trying to do is foment a color revolution in Venezuela again. It just doesn't seem. It seems stupid to me for them to try to allocate resources for some sort of like a ground invasion or an overt regime change. So I'm assuming, although there is a lot of buildup and there's a lot of like troop movement in Puerto Rico and some of these other areas, so it is a little bit hard to read. But
well, how realistic is the claimed threat of the drug stuff? Is that just kind of an excuse, or is it like is Maduro really involved in this level of bringing this in?
I mean, Venezuela the destabilization of Venezuela happened with U.S. embargoes and an attempted coup. What was that, like 2017, when they tried to do the U.S.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, this was Rubio and these guys who actually did this, which then brought about the immigration crisis, which sent Venezuelans all over South America and into North America. So, I mean, you could thank the changing demographics in favor of the Democrats. You could thank Marco Rubio and all these like CIA clowns at the State Department. They brought that about. So, and these are the same guys who are now pushing for exactly what Lindsey Graham wants, exactly what George W. Bush was licking his chops about. It's just neocon scumbaggery all over again. And it's not going to be, if they do some sort of a ground invasion, I don't think it's going to work out in their favor. I think it's going to create, it depends on what you think they actually favor, but it's going to create more mass migration issues and destabilization of the whole region. But a lot of this is about geopolitical influence over resources, the obvious ones like oil and minerals, but then also just staging grounds for possible actions contra Russia and China in these, coming escalating conflicts. So it's geopolitical in nature. This has nothing to do with drugs. Venezuela, most of the drugs right now are that are reaching the U.S. are getting shipped out of Ecuador. The president of Ecuador's currently.
Tristan might know a little bit about that.
Well, the president of Ecuador, his family. He's the president of Ecuador right now, Daniel Noboa. He's a nepo baby for the richest family in Ecuador, and they are big in the banana trade. They're the biggest banana exporters in the world, and I forget what percentage it is. I think it's like 70 to 80% of the cocaine that's getting sent to Europe and landing in Belgium is coming out of Ecuador, out of these private ports, and coming in boxes, much like the president of Ecuador's family sends out of the country. So it's and of course he's positioning himself as some sort of a U.S. ally because he's an American citizen born in Miami, and he's actually RFK Jr. is his godfather, believe it or not. And he has some connections with the Kennedy family.
Oh, interesting.
So which does also make sense. But yeah, the drug thing as far as Venezuela goes, yes, it's a transition zone where drugs flow from South America to North America. But we all know historically who the biggest importers and controllers of that drug trade have been.
Bro, that's the CIA, dude.
I mean, look at the Iran-Contra thing. What you're seeing is basically a continuation of that. It's like a South American Gladio-style program that's been running for a long time, that seems to be run through, the U.S. Special Operations as well as intelligence agencies, private corporations. It's nothing new, but all of a sudden, Venezuela just needs regime change. I think it's kind of a dangerous situation that the U.S. would be getting into. Although I don't know, maybe they can regime change Maduro and hold on to it. Venezuela is kind of a crazy place historically. Like Venezuela is where Simón Bolívar during the revolutions for so-called independence, when all these rich elite in South America decided that they didn't want to basically be involved with the crown anymore. They wanted to detach from Spain and kind of create their own little thing. Simón Bolívar, who was like a degenerate Masonic revolutionary, spent a bunch of time with the French revolutionaries around the 1790s, and at the turn of the century, he came back here. And one of the things that he did when he took over, and when he was
all the dummies in the chat, by the way, think you're a socialist. So who is this guy? Why is he defending socialism?
All right, yeah, because if you're not a neocon, then you're a socialist.
You have to be a socialist,
Yeah, even though the U.S. State Department will actually put so-called socialist leaders like Lula in power if they're amenable to their projects.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, Lula's a socialist, but he's cool because he's a WEF socialist.
Right.
He's not like a Gaddafi socialist who's going to nationalize resources and try to create, local currencies. That's the whole political spectrum. It's all just completely fake and gay. But Simón Bolívar, when he went into to kind of create his revolutionary project, which was essentially a chaos and terror campaign throughout the whole region, he used the Venezuelans to basically do like Phoenix program style massacres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and this is why there's so much hatred for Venezuelans throughout most of the region. Like, Colombians hate Venezuelans, Ecuadorians hate Venezuelans, Peruvians hate Venezuelans. Every other country in South America hates the Venezuelans not just because of things that have happened in the last 20 years, but things that go back several hundred years in history.
Well, hold on, Tristan, because we have a super chat from a guy named Chase Haggard Music, and he says for $2, this guy's actually a socialist. So, I was on board until Chase told us who you really were. So,
yeah. So, anyways, those are just some thoughts, but I don't think it's a good idea. Obviously, I think going in there would not be good.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the whole how they put Marco Rubio in charge of like all these operations down there. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, Rubio running the State Department is like, we all knew, anybody who's followed Rubio's career knew that this was one of the many huge red flags when Trump came into office. We all knew how this was all going to go. This is nothing that's happening now is a surprise. The Adelsons, the Rubios, all the people surrounding this presidency, it's no surprise that we're just seeing more of the kind of twisted 20th century weird version of the Monroe Doctrine, which all seems to involve narco.
So what you're saying is you support Hamas, basically.
What I'm saying is that I support Israel's right to do anything they want, regardless of what's right and wrong, is what I'm saying.
Do you support Israel's right to create Hamas?
I support Israel's right to create Hamas. I support Israel's right to send anybody pagers that they desire, as long as they don't send their pagers.
What if they send their pager to Sir Mix-a-Lot? Now we have a problem because Sir Mix-a-Lot, right? Beepers.
Yeah, no, I remember that giant gold pager. I actually didn't even catch the reference. Netanyahu, he's a true hip hop head, isn't he?
Yeah, no, the whole thing was a reference to Sir Mix-a-Lot's first hit. Before, people don't know that before I like big butts and I cannot lie. The original Mix-a-Lot single was Beepers. Beepers. Go ahead, John.
Even before that, NWA was talking about with a little bit of gold in a pager.
Oh.
They
were warning us. They were warning us about.
There's massive evangelical church involvement in South America. Remember Covert Action magazine, Jay?
I do. I have. I've interviewed the guy from it.
I remember that interview too. Yeah. So yeah, they're all over down there too. So it's interesting that this stuff is coming up.
What's that group called? What is that? That group where the one guy, they call him a martyr, but he got killed by some tribe in the Amazon. But they were involved with like radio communication type stuff and espionage stuff. They've been kicked out of a bunch of countries in Latin America. It's not SRA, something like SR something, I think.
Tristan, did that super chat make you mad? You seem like you just breezed past what Chase had to say. I feel like there's something going on here.
I can neither confirm nor deny the allegations made against me.
Okay.
I just have a question. In the Wiggertopia,
mm-hmm.
Will H. Brazzi get a W word pass?
He'll be allowed pretty much free passage in and out. So yes.
Okay, as long as that's
because we're gonna have strict immigration policies.
He can get an H1 and H1B visa.
He can get an H1 Brazzi visa. Get it? Because H Brazzi, H1B Brazzi visa. Come on now. Alex says, what if I dressed up in a giant pickle costume and I got into a fight with Andrew Wilson? Would he be better at opening his pickle jars? H. Brazzi, play the Hillary misogyny song again. All right, you got it right here.
Chauvinists and sexists and misogynists and 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 chauvinists and sexists.
The whisper is the best part. Andrew Zhang, do you believe the Earth is 4,000 years old? No, dog. I believe in Tartaria, the Earth is 1,000 years old, and they created a vast fake backstory. Go stew on that for a minute.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that the other day because you're talking about how you never wanted to go to Australia because the flight was so long.
Mhm.
Actually, it's only 8 hours to get to
'cause
Australia
flat Earth?
on the pizza pie.
Oh, the flat Earth model makes the flights easier. Okay, well, I'm open to it now. Steve McLovin. All right, never get one. Jewish skeptic, $5. If there's no breaking continuity, then do you have diva-stolic succession? Is Dyer first amongst the divas? This is not a Orthodox situation. This is a papal situation. There is no equal to my diva status, but I like the way you're thinking. Max, $10. My local Orthodox church is in commune with Rome. That's not an Orthodox church. So Max says, I am new to this. Help me understand. You probably are at a Uniate Eastern Catholic Church. That's not an Orthodox church. So that's the first mistake. But actually, I'm glad you asked. Flavius Athanases, $10. I appreciate what you do. Would you be kind and list a book list for catechumens? I have a video called Top 10 or Top 15 Orthodox Books. So check that one out. Zillennial, $3. Do women have entitlement? No, we did that already. Excuse me. Octavian, $10. Jay, when you do your cholo, throw in the words, so basically like, okay. So basically like, bro, barely could we even get none of this good weed down there from Ecuador or whatever. So like, pretty much what we did was we just instead got a bunch of yayo. Volpez says, in regard to Maduro, bro, whatever happens, like, there's nothing wrong with like a little bit of yayo or whatever. Okay. Amber, $10. Thank you for all this great information. Thank you, Amber. And Amber, you get Hillary.
Chauvinists and sexists and misogynists.
That's my response to Amber. Amber alert. We got Amber alert. Oh, shit, we got an Amber alert. So we'll go a little bit of Hillary in response. By the way, they have replaced. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. By the way, guys, support the stream. Go over to chalk.com and click on the performance stack right there and use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off all those great products. JAY40, 40% off that performance stack that includes the Tonka Elite that boosts testosterone and the Chad Mode pre-workout and the Action 2.0. FYN, what's up, man? Fiend, what's up?
Hello, could you speak on the Chechnyan wars and how much the CIA had influence in it, or whether it was both Russian and the?
Well, it was a proxy war. It was a proxy war. I mean, Putin was in that war, and yeah, the CIA was supporting the Chechens, and the CIA was supporting the Muslims against Russia there as well. And I have talked about this in the past. Ingdahl has a whole chapter on it, right? But I'm not super studied on this, but it was a proxy war between the CIA and Russia, for sure. So I'm sorry I don't know enough about that to speak extensive about it, other than just what's in Full Spectrum Dominance. Chauvinists and sexists and misogynists. The Chechen resistance against Russian imperialism has its origins in the 1780s. Yeah, okay, and then it was part of the Cold War. And this is, Putin was in this conflict, wasn't he? This is kind of where he rose to prominence out of this conflict. I forget exactly what his role was, but I'm sorry, I don't know more about that. Jake, what's up, dog?
Hey, Jake. Hey. So you may or may not have better hair than Candace, but I bet she could out karaoke you and Kanye. But
hell no, dude.
Maybe not. But hey,
have you heard my cringecore songs? Are you serious?
A little bit, yeah. I just know specifically Kanye, but I wanted to make a point on that guy who called it about Mormonism. Well, see, I did a unique introduction to Orthodoxy. I was baptized a few years ago, but initially a guy invited me to, it happened to be a GOC, True Orthodoxy, and I thought that was like Orthodox. I didn't know what was going on, but it took a few weeks down the road, he was like telling me like that he was almost like very close to becoming baptized Mormon before he became that. Before he was Orthodox. And I was like, what is going on? Is this because I was like very hesitant to come back into religion, right? And because it was just, I'd been Catholic and atheist and all this. And so I was like, what is, so I was wondering if there was like kind of like how you're saying about Spurgs, becoming GOC and all that. But it was a strange sort of moment there because I think you're right about them being kind of spurgy and weird but
yeah, it's a lot of people who are mentally ill, a lot of cults, and actually spies, spooks, organized crime. Did you see the recent bust in Greece?
No, what's going on there?
Greek priests have arrested 3 defrocked old calendar schismatics who were running a human trafficking drug ring.
Oh, right. I see. Yeah, you mentioned that the other day. But yeah, I don't get how they're really locked into their own world, and then like they think that like anyone can go to a GOC church anywhere or something. Like it doesn't make any sense because there's only like 8 of them in the whole country or less.
That's exactly. It's just like all the other trailer park cults, sedevacantists, same stuff. But yeah, it's a waste of your time. Oh crap! I just screwed up the. I think I accidentally shut down the stream. Dang it, I hit the wrong button. Well, sorry to the Twitter space. I accidentally closed it out. I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, head on over to chalk.com. Use promo code JY4 40% off or J44Life. That's JY44LIFE to get 44% off. And you can unsubscribe at any time. Now, finishing up on these super chats. S. Duster says... Cringecore dashboard confessionals vindicated. Exactly. Jordan Lofgren, you was in Wu-Tang, right? When I was at that Spooky Con, when we had a book table at Spooky Con when I met the girl from Hellraiser. Wu-Tang was there. I think it was Method Man. It was Method Man that was there. But I didn't meet Method Man. I was like, well, what am I going to say to Method Man? I don't know. But I did have something to say to the Hellraiser girl. So I talked to her. And that's on my Instagram, if y'all was worried. If y'all was wondering, that's on my Instagram, son.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal.
That's a damn church right there. That's time for the church, son. We about to have an eyes wide shut church party in the basement. Dude, that's what they call an after party. Y'all ever heard of the after party? You know what I'm saying?
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal.
I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. I put my key in the ignition. I'm fresh out the kitchen. Baby, we about to have some church.
I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. I was born in Romania in a Christian family. Pentecostal. Pentecostal.
That's a damn charge right there. I never get tired of that. Shout out to Dr. Evo. That's awesome. Scruffles, $10. Did Joseph Smith break bread with Yakub? Did Will Smith break bread with Yakub? Yes. There's your answer. Cholo Mexicano. This is for $5. Dude. Hey, dude. Hey, bro. Nobody hates socialism more than I do. I'm so antisocial that pretty much like barely I don't talk to nobody, bro. That was his super chat. I had to read Cholo Mexicano's super chat in Cholo voice, bro. Hey, dude. Like, how could I not read it in that voice, bro? Straight up Pentecostal, bro. Hey, dude. Okay, I think that's all the super chats. Let's see. So basically, nobody hates the socialists like more than I do, pretty much, bro. Like, barely anybody could like barely even do it, bro. Like me, bro. Hey, dude. Hey, dude. Guys, be sure and follow me over here on X. Help me get these numbers up. Like Bill Gates says, get the numbers down. Nah, dude, we want to get the numbers up, dude. Well, I'll get these numbers down. Let's get these numbers up. These are rookie numbers, like Matthew McConaughey says. There's rookie numbers. Get those numbers up, son. Is that it? I think that's it. A lot of fun tonight. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a good night.